Mad as a hatter. You've probably heard that phrase a million times, right? Maybe you've even used it. But what if I told you that this quirky little saying has a super dark origin story? One that involves actual poison and madness. Well, today we're going to dig into that story.
All right, so let's start with the phrase itself. It sounds kind of funny, almost a bit whimsical, but its real history? Yeah, it's anything but.
I mean, really think about it. Why a hatter? Why not mad as a baker or mad as a blacksmith? What was going on with hat makers that made them the poster children for being completely bonkers?
To figure that out, let's first get on the same page about what we even mean when we say this today.
So, yeah, what exactly does it mean in modern conversation? Let's break down the definition. At its core, it's used to describe someone who's acting super eccentric, maybe a little unhinged, or just in a way that makes absolutely no sense. It's that kind of wild, unpredictable behavior. So now that we've got the what, let's get to the juicy part, the why. And this is where our story takes a much darker turn. See, this phrase wasn't just made up. It's actually rooted in a very real and honestly a very dangerous piece of history. We've got to go back to 19th century England. The Industrial Revolution is roaring. Factories are popping up everywhere, and felt hats, they were the height of fashion. But the process of making those beautiful hats hid a deadly secret. So here's the tragic breakdown. First, everyone wanted a fancy felt hat. To make them, hatters had to turn animal fur into smooth, pliable felt. And the key ingredient for that? Mercury. Workers would be in these small, poorly ventilated shops, breathing in toxic mercury fumes all day, every day. And over time, this led to just devastating neurological damage. And that's the connection right there. The madness wasn't a metaphor, it was a literal symptom of mercury poisoning. These workers would get uncontrollable tremors, something they called the Hatter shakes. They'd have wild mood swings and act totally irrationally. People on the outside just saw the strange symptoms. And this tragic occupational hazard gave birth to the idiom, mad as a hatter. Now, let's fast forward to today. Even though that dangerous practice is thankfully long gone, the phrase is totally alive and well. We're going to look at how it's used in English and also see how that idea translates over into Indonesian. Okay, here's a perfect example of its most direct meaning. In English, you might say, everyone thought Patono was mad as a hatter for talking to himself on the street. And in Indonesian, that becomes, semua orang mengira Patono sudah gila karena berbicara sendiri di jalan. It perfectly captures that idea of really strange, public, eccentric behavior. But, the meaning can be a little more complex. It can also describe a kind of eccentric genius. For instance, he has strange but brilliant ideas. People say he's mad as a hatter. And in Indonesian, dia punya ide-ide aneh tapi genius. Orang bilang dia gila. So here, mad isn't really about insanity. It's more about a kind of brilliance that's just way outside the box. So, what an unbelievable journey, right? This phrase started as a literal description of a deadly workplace hazard and evolved into a common idiom we toss around without a second thought. So, let's just quickly recap the big points. We learned that this common phrase for crazy behavior was actually born from a real-world industrial poison. It describes everything from eccentric to totally irrational behavior. And maybe most importantly, It's a fantastic reminder that our language is just packed with these incredible hidden histories. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday phrases that we use all the time might have some bizarre or dark or just plain fascinating story buried inside them? It's definitely something to think about. And that is the true story behind Mad as a Hatter. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. As always, stay curious.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.